Welcome to the Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 meeting. Please silence your cell phones, pagers, and other electronic communication devices. Agendas and speaker request forms are located at the back of the chambers if you have something you want to speak on. So I guess we'll start off with a roll call because we are missing somebody. So, but they're not zooming in today. Unfortunately, when we had this meeting on a Wednesday versus a Tuesday, when he was scheduling ahead of time, he scheduled to leave town today, so he's probably on the airplane or waiting on the tarmac to take off. So Ron won't be here, and he won't be able to zoom in because of that. So in his absence, he said I could have 2 votes. So okay, so we'll have a moment of silence led by Deb. We'll do the roll call. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We don't need a roll call.
We don't need a roll call. Just Ron's missing. Okay, fine. So Deb, if you want to start with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, that'd be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. And we're going to review and approve the agenda. So anybody have any changes to the agenda, or do we get a motion? Or
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion from Durr and a second from Drews. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And so we're going to have a recognition of some new employees today. So I don't know if we had somebody set up to do that, or if they want me to read the names off here. So,
Jordan, do you have a list to put up on the board?
I sure do. I'll throw it up here right now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
and this is I'd like to recognize these following employees that were hired between 25 February 26 and 22 May 26 and have been invited to meet and greet, and they're probably already hitting the streets out there today. We met with a few of them this morning, so welcome aboard, and thank you for becoming part of the team. So anybody want to make any comments on that? If not, we'll move on. And we'll go to the consent agenda. The Board of Commissioners uses the consent agenda to act on non-controversial and routine items. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and a vote of the board. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on a regular agenda at the request of a board member or a citizen. The consent agenda contains the following items, and I'm going to ask, is there any citizens that want to remove any consent agenda items? Okay, seeing none, is there any commissioners that would like to remove consent agenda items? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Did you get that? Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. So we'll move on to item number 6. There is a 3-minute time limit. This is the public comment per SDCL 125.1. There's a 3-minute time limit per person. The speaker request form is required. No commission action will be taken during this section. The speakers under this section will be recorded in the minutes by name and area of interest. I don't have any speaker request forms. Jordan doesn't have any speaker request forms. Anybody want to speak? It was my birthday a few days ago. If you want to come forward and tell me happy birthday, I'll accept that. But all right, we'll move on. Board of Committee appointments, Planning Commission appointments. The board will need to fill 2 upcoming vacancies on the Planning Commission. Candidates submitted interest forms, provided introductory statements at the May 22nd meeting, and completed written responses to a questionnaire. Okay, and we had a lot of applicants, and which is unusual for us. Sometimes we're trying to find people, and this time we had a lot of great applicants. So I guess I'll be looking for a motion on this.
I'm going to start with one motion.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion out of the applicants to appoint Lindsay Mader.
We have a motion and a second for Lindsay Mader. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Hadcock?
I make a motion for Jay Schmidt.
Have a motion, and I'll second that motion.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So a year ago, we didn't accept applicants that came in after the deadline.
Okay.
In fact, Lindsay Mader was put off a year because of that. And I understand that Mr. Schmidt's application wasn't filed on time either.
I don't know that that's to be true or not.
Unfortunately, that is true. I believe through conversations, I gave the wrong date, and so they thought a submission could be made a day after it was supposed to have been made. So that is definitely the commission office's fault. That is my fault,
Okay.
that it was submitted late.
Well, I don't have any problem with it if it was submitted late.
Chair,
Yep, Commissioner Hadcock.
why I'm saying Jay Schmidt is he's been wanting to be on here for a while. He has the expertise. He has the time he's put in before, wanting to be part of the team planning. I have full confidence that I like how he says it like it is. He'll be good for learning and listening. So that's why I picked Jay Schmidt.
And he also had put in before and didn't get selected because the process was kind of convoluted. I mean, we didn't really have a process in place. It's still a process in action. I guess this is better than what it was in the past, to try to bring people up and then have them speak and then have to vote on something that was pretty crazy. So we have a motion on the floor. Any more comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to comment that it's appreciated with the number of applicants that we did receive and the time that the applicants spent to answer the questionnaires and go through the process. And so if you read their written responses, it's an indication that we have citizens in the community that are pretty attuned as to what's going on. And there were great applicants. And so the applicants that, again, didn't get submitted this time, the multiples ones that we have with 2 openings, it's much appreciated. So I look for other opportunities within the county. So quite impressive group of applicants.
Yeah, I don't know what you can add to that. I mean, and I wish we had a lot more spots available. I mean, there's going to be spots coming up, and I think that people that tried once can always try again. I mean, I remember running for office the first time, and I got rejected quite a few times. So, any other comments? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So,
Mr. Chair, I'm abstaining from that vote.
okay, Gary will abstain. So, okay, so 3 with 1 abstaining from Gary. So, does that motion carry then, or do we? Okay, that motion carries then. Thank you. We'll move on to item B, Pennington County Housing and Redevelopment Commission appointment. The board will need to fill 1 current vacancy on the Pennington County Housing and Redevelopment Commission. So,
Chair?
Yes.
If we could, I would appoint Alex Purcell, would be my suggestion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Alex, and I just want to say one thing about Alex. That guy is, I mean, who was his boss? Barry put a lot of time and effort into Alex, and he's turned out to be a wonderful young man. I mean, we're really fortunate to have him in the position he's in, and I think this is another opportunity for Brian and
Alex is here.
yeah. So Alex
Oh,
is here?
yeah, I was going to say, Mr.
I won't
Chair,
say any more than-
Alex and Brian Ochbach are here if you wanted to
Okay.
bring them
No,
forward.
I don't have anything to say. I think Alex
okay.
would be a wonderful addition to what Brian's doing over there. I think the county is like best in class on their operation over there, and I think that they hold themselves out as a role model for the rest of the communities. So,
Chair,
with that being said,
just one. I've been on Pennington County Housing for a while, and our goal is to help more veterans. And Alex Purcell, being a veteran, for one, thank you for your service, Alex, but also worked with Alex before with housing, and he just gets things done. So in our housing authority, there's about 150 vouchers that have never really get filled because we need kind of that housing unit, and we need someone more maybe attuned to the Meade County and the Veteran Services. Jerry Durr has helped us many times with some of those services, and we appreciate him as well. But we'd actually like to see if we can open some type of housing unit for veterans for the future, and that's why I recommended Alex Purcell, because of his dedication to veterans and his dedication to what he does. So we appreciate him, and thank you for actually putting in and wanting to help us, Alex.
Thank you. I don't think there's another well-deserved class of people in our community besides the veterans who we sometimes overlook how they put their life on hold to allow us to live our lives the way we do. Kind of choked me up a little bit, I'm sorry. But anyway, so we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Alex, welcome aboard. Brian, I think you're going to be happy. Well, I think Brian will, okay. Move on to items from planning and zoning? No, I'm sorry, items from the sheriff, okay. Okay. Did I miss something there? No, items from the sheriff. I skipped right over you, Brian. Law enforcement wage scale.
Good morning, Commission. Brian Mueller, Pennington County Sheriff. Sorry I missed your birthday last week, and
I know. You got a lot more important
if I
things
could
to deal
sing
with.
better, I'd sing it for you, but nobody wants to hear that.
Appreciate
so.
that.
If you turn 80, we'll try not to tell anybody you're 80 either.
Whoa, whoa.
And there's nothing wrong with being 80. I'll get no comment, but that's okay.
Well, I'm back in front of you again with this request to do a wage adjustment for our deputies. I started this process last year during the budget process. I've been back in front of you 2 times since then, and what I had said the last couple of times I've been in front of you is I wanted to figure out a way to pay for this without coming in and having to ask for extra money up front. So as you can see through this document, we have several different things that we've worked on over the last couple of years and that we've implemented this year, and we're working on making some adjustments on some staffing even for next year to make this, to continue to cut our budget and find innovative ways to increase revenues to pay for this increase for law enforcement. But I think it's very timely that we look at doing this, and I talked to Commissioner Durr yesterday. Instead of asking for the motion to be a cost of living adjustment, to ask it to be a market adjustment, which is really what it is. And when you look at the sheet that shows our comparison for our deputies, it does tell part of a story. And part of it is our main competitor with the Rapid City Police Department has really gotten out ahead of us with wages. And what I'm not asking to bring that to parity. I'm just asking to make a little bit of headway with that so we can continue to work on recruiting new staff, because most of our staff that are coming to work right now, coming through the process, a lot of them are applying for the police department and the sheriff's office and going through that hiring process together and making a final decision. We have a couple of them that are in both processes right now. So I'm looking for trying to make that adjustment, and you can see from this sheet here that we have more than paid for that with some of the cuts we made, and going through the budget process this year, and I know we're a little bit ahead of that. We'll be on the 23rd and 24th of June, be back in front of you with the budget process. I'm bringing a budget to you that has some reduction of FTEs and cost savings of tax support of about $1 million. And I hope by the time I actually bring that back to you, that'll be a little bit more than that. And so I would stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you. I know that you and Commissioner Durr have been working very heavily on this, so is there anybody that has anything to say before that? Otherwise, I'm going to give Jerry the floor, because I know there was some questions about some information that he was trying to get from you, Mr. Sheriff. So I want to clarify that before I do anything here. And is these wages on here, is that where you're trying to get to, is 3046? Or is that where you're at now?
No, where they're.
Oh, it's right there, I'm sorry.
It's right
Yeah,
underneath
I
of
got
it,
it.
3137.
I should have known better. Jordan's pretty efficient about making sure we understand, because he knows what he's dealing with. So, Jerry, you have the floor.
So Brian, just kind of a follow-up from the conversations from yesterday, but I'm not in favor of calling it a COLA increase, as the sheriff spoke to. a cost of living adjustment would indicate that it would be, that's what we apply to the scale, and that would be countywide cost of living. We gave the COLA last year in a step increase. I think it came to 4.4%.
Correct.
So, and when I'm looking at the information, one of the things I clarified yesterday with the sheriff is I was questioning as to whether or not, because some of the budgets that, can you pull the budget where these are coming out of? He's got a cost per budget line item.
Yes. Back in
This is working out well, Jordan, this screen up here.
It is very handy.
Yeah. So anyway, when I see law enforcement at 112, and then I look at jail at 17,000 and JSC and then detox, my mind went to, okay, jail, then this would be correctional staff increases as well. So would you explain that?
Yes, I have a few deputies, partial salaries in JSC and detox, and a few full deputy salaries that are in the jail. And the jail, the state auditor a few years back required us to move all of our deputies and transport officers that have anything to do with transportation of prisoners to the jail budget. So part of that was a change through the state auditor, and I can't remember exactly what year that was. So we moved some of our deputy staff under the jail budget, so that's at 17,423. That's the deputies that are assigned there. And then I always put a little bit of a percentage of deputy staff paid for out of JSC and detox to account for the transportation that we do out of those facilities.
All right. And then looking at, which I again mentioned yesterday, when you go back to the wage that we're comparing to. So we have Rapid, CDPD, Highway Patrol, Box Elder, DCI, Lawrence County, and a question, why didn't you look at Meade County?
Just partially the size of what they do and what we do. I just looked at one had a little bit larger jail, and then we haven't really had any loss to county back and forth, so I just didn't put that one on there.
And then when I'm looking at the financial data, and it's just, which I spoke to you yesterday about as well, it's just kind of how I'd like to see comparables. But if we take the 55,000, which is annualized from Box Elder, I think that puts their wage at about $26 an hour.
Correct.
And so if you're going to, when you're making comparables, go hourly to hourly or salary to salary. And so
When we reached out to those agencies, they just put the dollar amounts in that they sent back. So I believe that's how they advertise their wages. So
Right.
I just didn't want to make any assumptions, so I put that in there. I don't know if there's anything extra in there or on top of that, what that looks like, but I didn't want to make any assumptions on that.
All
So
right.
I just put the dollar amount that they provided.
And then at the current wage that we have, it looks like, without making any adjustments, that comparable to Minnehaha County, that we're within about 85 cents of the starting wage, comparable to Minnehaha County. So
That's correct.
anyway, and then the other comment I would make is, and I know you're not going to supplement your budget, hopefully, but what I'm more curious about is the county's position overall, because we've taken on some projects that were not budgeted for. The Justice Center remodel that got approved was not budgeted for in 2026. And I'm hoping, that's the one reason that I was hoping when we would be closing on the FIB building, if we could receipt that revenue in and get that revenue receipted in that would offset that expenditure for the remodel cost. So for me, it's about looking at the overall budget and, kind of seeing where we're at. But I've said it before, I do think that we need to make a little adjustment. I'm just not keen on making adjustments mid-year. And the other comment kind of related to it, when we look at some of the wage stuff that we're looking at, and we're saying, the other thing I would like to see is how many employees over the last, year are we losing to what you're saying are our direct competitors. And I kind of have an idea, but looking at, what turnover rate is, what attrition rate is, and I get what it costs to train a law enforcement officer. But going with the wage analysis too would be an indication. How are we doing? We have a wage, but are we, what is our turnover rate? Is it normal? Did last year, did we lose 3 people to the Rapid City PD, et cetera, on some of the competitors? But anyway, those are just my comments.
Chair.
Yes, good. Commissioner Hancock.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry, for explaining that. I appreciate that. And yes, I worry about the budget and budget supplementing, because I've seen some crazy stuff a few years ago. But what I have seen is Sheriff playing team and wanting to make a difference with some of these areas that we're saying need to be cut. He's made his cuts. He's trying to make those cuts. And he's followed through with what we've said he needs to do. If he hasn't done that, or he hadn't even tried to do that, and we talked about this morning, I'd have a hard time saying, okay, you just want more. But that's not what he's doing. For correction officers, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you're giving them $1 more an hour, basically. I'm good with that. If he was raising them up 30,000, 10,000, something crazy, I get it. That's playing a little bit different, but he's trying to keep up. He's trying to keep his team together, and for that, I like it. I like that he plays team. I like that he's trying to make those cuts. He's trying to make those areas that we're saying, we got to do something, sir, and he's done that. And I've liked Brian for that reason, working with him, because when we say do, sometimes we can't get some of those numbers and things, but they're ever changing on some of that. But the bottom line is, hopefully there's no supplement for this. And from what I've seen from the exit reports and everything else, and talking to you, you followed through. So I am good with this. And again, with this type of job description for me, let's see how many people you can recruit yourself to do what they do. I encourage people to go to the jail, be a deputy in different areas, and see what you get paid, because I've seen desk clerks and other people in Pennington County get paid $30 an hour, $35 an hour. That's when the wage increase and some of that stuff got a little bit crazy, when we should have took care of our own in those areas with law enforcement and things where they put their lives on the line. I never had a problem with, and that's what I was telling you before, with some of those areas that I think we should have increased. This is one of those areas I think we could have done better in, and some of the other ones done less. So thank you, Brian, for taking care of your team. And I appreciate you bringing this forward. And yes, I'm looking at your concerns, Commissioner Durr, and hopefully when we do this budget, Brian keeps that in mind, that he wants to take care of his team like he has been, and he brings all this together in his budget so it works. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, just to follow up, but this does not include correctional staff.
Right.
So you mentioned $1 an hour for correctional staff. There is no correctional staff, and that would be a question I have as well, because I'm assuming if your team is looking at the certified law enforcement side getting an increase, how are we setting with the correctional staff, and where is that pay at?
Correct. And when we went through the wage study and the wage change, our correction staff were pretty close to the top in the state on the correction side. And our deputies were behind. They did get a wage increase when we did that wage scale adjustment, but we knew we couldn't chunk it all out in 1 year. So we'll continue to look at that each year, but our correction pay is pretty commensurate with what the DOC, which is our main competitor, is, especially now with this new women's prison out here, and the surrounding counties. It's pretty close.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Bruce, sir.
So I appreciate your presentation, Brian. So I look at the keeping things competitive so you aren't losing staff, because we know that the cost of training new staff will eat the savings up very quickly. And so I'm in support of what you're proposing. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could make one more comment.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't include the particulars in the packet on this because the information I have is, I think it's about 2 months old, but we looked 2 months ago at our current Deputy 1, Deputy 2 positions, and it's roughly 66, 67 positions. 50% of the deputy ones and deputy twos that work for us right now make less money than the starting wage for the Rapid City Police Department. We have lost a couple of staff to the police department, existing staff, and we have lost a handful of new applicants that have gone through the process just looking at the wages. I do have part of that information. I didn't bring it with me today. I'm just trying to stay ahead of this. I know that mid-year is not the right way to do it. Right in front of the budget process is not the right way to do it. But I did try to do this during the budget process last year, which we would have already had it budgeted for, and was asked to do some other research and bring that back. And I felt strongly that I wanted to be able to do that in a timely way, to be able to make some adjustments within our own budget to pay for that and not ask the county to do a supplement. And I feel pretty confident looking at our budget projections. We're just working on our current round of budget projections. Probably within the next week I'll have more of that information, but I feel pretty confident we'll not be back asking for a supplement this year. Not for this, or even after cutting roughly 4% out of the salaries in all of our budgets from last year.
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Durr.
Jordan, what is the cost of living for this fiscal year that we'll budget for?
2.5%.
Okay, so 2.5, and then a step increase is about 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So 4, 3, 7. So theoretically, if we follow the same process, then law enforcement beginning if we haven't gotten into the budget process, but if we follow the same personnel concept, then we would say starting in January 1, if we adopted the COLA and the step increase for the employees countywide, then that would be, a little over a 7% increase to law enforcement.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to do the 3%, not call it a COLA, but a market adjustment for the certified law enforcement.
Okay, we got a motion.
July
second.
5th? For
Pardon?
July 5th?
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
July 5th,
July 5th.
effective.
Okay, July 5th?
Yes, that's the beginning of the pay period, I assume.
Correct.
Okay, so I want to thank the sheriff and Jerry for the hard work. I mean, I don't think anybody understands some of the hard work that go in here. I think it's easy to throw rocks at somebody that's digging into stuff, but I know that Commissioner Durr has worked diligently on giving us proper information, and Brian has delved in and said, okay, tell me what you want and let's work together to make something happen. So I appreciate everybody's efforts, and I think that but I had a question. I'm trying to figure out the org chart, because you have a deputy 1, deputy 2. Could you just give me just a short synopsis of what that is? Because I look at Minnehaha County, and I mean, they seem to be a lot more streamlined in their org charts, and I'm trying to get my arms around what the differences are, because we have a deputy 1, deputy 2, and then we go from a sergeant into a lieutenant in between. They don't have a lieutenant in between. And then we have a captain and chief deputy, which everything else is the same. So can you maybe just give me a synopsis of that?
Correct. And the deputy 2 and the correctional officer 2 is something we did a number of years ago. We had another layer, corporal layer of supervision in there that was removed. And we went to the deputy 2 and correctional officer 2. At the time, initially, when we implemented it, was at the 5-year mark. And
From when they're a 1 and they hit 5 years, they become a 2?
yeah, I think it's 3 years or 4 years now by policy. They have to go through a testing process to be able to a job knowledge test. On the deputy side, on the correction side, they have to do some online training that they have to complete. And then they get a step, and that has really helped us with our retention. And when I do my budget presentation, I'll bring that back to you and show you that if we can keep staff for 3 years, we a lot of times will keep them long term. A lot of our turnover is in that first 3 years. And for somebody that isn't ready to test to become a supervisor, to get that a little bit of a raise, we give them some more responsibility, some more duties that's set out in policy at that time. And that is what a lot of our surrounding agencies out here have adopted, that same type of structure.
Okay. And then going from a sergeant to a lieutenant and then a captain, so you got a lieutenant in between. they don't have that. I'm just trying to figure out what your philosophy is.
Yep, they have, we have 3 lieutenants, 2 lieutenants in our patrol division, and we have 1 lieutenant in our criminal investigation division. And that helps with span of control with the fact that we have so many additional operations out here. We have search and rescue that's under our office. Our county is 2,800 square miles, so all of the different events that we have, dealing with city council in 4 different communities with our contract, having those lieutenants to be able to help with the 24-hour operation with span of control is a big deal for us. And then our criminal investigations lieutenant helps us oversee special events, but also helps us oversee our school resource program.
So when you get the increase put on you, do you move that increase to those municipalities also reflectively?
It is 5%. I put a 5% increase for the municipalities in the budget process this year. I think it was 6 or 7
Commissioner
last
Hancock
year.
had something to say.
Just a question. So a deputy 1, deputy 2, so you don't have them 3 or 4 years and then give them $1 or whatever an hour. Do you start a deputy 2, like if someone has experience, is that why you have a deputy 2 up there? Because you just said it takes you 3 or 4 years to get to a deputy 2?
Correct. It's a promotion after I think it's year 4 in the budget or in the process. They go through a testing process, and if they're selected, they sew stripes on. We give them a little bit more responsibility. In the law enforcement side, we use them for supervision when we don't have sergeants around also.
But you give them steps in between, so they're not staying at 32 or $1
Correct.
more an
They're-
hour in those 3 or 4 years.
They have the steps,
Because,
yes.
of course, every year we give them 2.5
Correct.
or 1.5 with it, but
That's just the starting.
that's why I'm saying, do you hire someone that has more experience? That's why you call them a deputy 2?
No,
Or no?
we do have, if we hire somebody with experience, we always hire them as a deputy 1. With the exception, occasionally, if we have a deputy 2 that leaves the office and comes back within a year's time, we have placed them at that deputy 2 pay scale when they come back, but I've never done a hire straight into a deputy 2 position. They have to earn that with the experience that they have in our office.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Mr. Chair, one follow-up. Jordan, would you go to the numbers again, but budget by department?
Do we know what this is going to cost effectively over?
Well, that's my question. So, Jordan, if you go back to that. So, Brian, when he calculated these numbers, and I didn't,
There we go. Okay.
I had a question. So this is just the base wage at 3%, and that's the calculation, or did you include all the payroll taxes and retirement costs?
I can send Courtney a text and ask her that, exactly what she did to get that figure. So I
All
don't
right.
want to give you wrong information.
Because I'm just going to make an assumption that that's the base wage, not including retirement and the payroll taxes.
I think she applied that to our actual staff, but I'll get you
right.
that answer.
So, and then a question for Jordan. I'm assuming then this amount will just be applied to the law enforcement scale, or how will you implement it through payroll?
If we're going to do a 3% market adjustment, we will change the matrix. The actual matrix will change from the midpoint wage, starting wage, and everything like that. And so for the PS bands specifically related to these, we may have to split some things out, but we'll figure it out and make sure that it is applied only to the positions listed here by the sheriff.
And get back with us with those numbers if you would.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Everybody's clear on what we're voting on now, so.
Yep.
What did we call it this again? I think.
It's a market adjustment.
Okay, and that's important, that knowing that going forward, that
Yes.
we run into these issues, that it makes more sense to handle it that way. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I greatly appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Mr. Sheriff. And do you think that not losing people to Meade County has something to do with who's in charge, or? I'm not just kidding. I'm not going to put you on the spot. That's what Pat West will probably be calling me up now, going, "What do you mean here?" Okay. So, Cody, how are you, buddy? Not too bad. Items from planning and zoning, regular planning items, and we're public hearing of comprehensive plan, amendment, approval by resolution, change the feature. Okay, Cody, you have the floor.
Cody Sack, Senior Planner. Item 9A is Comprehensive Plan Amendment COCA 26-0004. That's to change the future land use from Ranchette District to Commercial District. The applicant and landowner is Raymond Hupp. Location of the property is 13535 South Highway 16. Again, current zoning is agriculture district. There is no special flood hazard area on the property. So when we look at zoning, we look at current zoning within a half mile. So on the left-hand side is your current zoning. On the right-hand side is your future land use. So this pink right here, that's adjacent to the property. This property right here is 700 feet away from the subject property. Future land use is commercial for those, and I believe besides this one that's right in the middle of Main Street in Rockerville, the current zoning is commercial. This was routed around for interdepartment review. There were no objections or concerns that were received. The highway has approved, or DOT has approved an approach off of Highway 16. There were some questions about it at the Planning Commission meeting. So they are currently working on the approach, and this is the location of the approach. It sits a little farther north. The existing approach right now is this lot 2 to the south. They can't go through that because that's residential, so we told them they had to work with DOT to get an approach, so they got that approach. We do have one letter of opposition from a neighbor, but with that, staff is recommending approval of comprehensive plan amendment COCA 26-0004 with the Planning Commission's concurrence.
With a motion or questions, guys? Commissioner Hadcock?
I was going to ask you something. Oh, just, this is one of those areas where I was talking about when I said the comprehensive plan, you have to change ag in different areas in order to get the comprehensive plan changed, and then you have to rezone. So most of the time when you do anything you do in order to put something in an area, hopefully that fits in a way that will be conducive for those areas, you have to do a comp plan and a rezone. So that you'll see a bunch of these in planning moving forward. And yes, I agree with this. I don't know if I can make the motion since I talked, but I move approval.
Yeah, I guess we can allow that. No, Cody, is this the DOT on their approach? Are they going to let people cross the highway again?
So I don't have a picture of it. There is no spot right there to cross to turn left. They have to come down through Rockerville.
Okay, but so it's not right there.
Turn left onto a
one-way. It's not going to add
then
more confusion to that already unsafe intersection.
Not that we're aware of. And
DOT's pretty good about looking at that ahead of time, I guess.
You have to.
So. All right, I got a motion. One and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Public hearing of rezone from ag to commercial in accordance with the Pennington County zoning ordinance.
Move approval.
Motion for approval.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C.
Thank you, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. And this is Ms. Brittany.
Good job, Cody.
What'd you say?
That's what
That's
you
a
got
good
those
job.
big bucks for, Cody.
Brittany. you
Hey,
got the floor.
Cody, we're going to talk about a TIF. Do you want to come back? Okay.
Jason and Brittany here for that one.
Yes.
Ms. Brittany.
All right. Brittany Hand, Planning Director. Item C is Tax Increment Finance District Number 8 for Black Hills Marketplace. It's a tax increment finance district, has been prepared and submitted by Black Hills Marketplace Development Team for the purposes of developing Black Hills Marketplace for the creation of a mixed-use commercial, hospitality, residential, and public infrastructure development on the property located at the intersection of Catron Boulevard and 5th Street along Catron. So I just kind of wanted to go over a general overview of this request. Again, it's in the extraterritorial jurisdiction of Rapid City, so the platting and subdivision regulations will be through the city of Rapid City at this time, although they plan on annexing into the Rapid City upon filing and approval of the final plat. This is proposed as a comprehensive mixed-use lifestyle development. It's going to provide some regional retail, residential, hospitality, and employment in the Black Hills area. They are proposing about 400,000 square feet of retail, hospitality, and restaurants, 500-unit Class A multifamily development with luxury amenities, 130 single-family residences, and they'll have additional pad sites for future retail and restaurants. And there is a future industrial and employment business that will be located next to the landfill area. So the proposed public improvements for this TIF include extension of Black Hills Boulevard to the south, extension of 5th Street to the south, turn lanes on Catron Boulevard, an extension of an internal commercial roadway, which would be East Watts Lane, water and utility infrastructure, regional drainage and stormwater improvements, construction of 2 regional detention ponds, and some site grading and infrastructure preparation. So the economic development, this is going to be an economic development TIF per SDCL 11.9. The current base property value for this property is $74,600. They are projecting their property valuation at full build-out is $214.6 million. They are proposing or anticipating about $13 million in new property tax revenue over a 30-year period. The current sales tax revenue on this property is 0. The projected annual sales tax at full build-out will range from $270 to $415 million over a 30-year period, and the projected sales tax revenue over a 30-year period to be about $215 million. The employment, it's anticipated to provide 900 new full-time jobs and 2,000 construction-related jobs. And in addition to that, they are proposing that they would provide Pennington County a 6 to 9 acre site for a future county facility. So the housing, they're going to be a diversified housing mix of 500 multifamily dwelling units and 130 single-family dwelling units that will range from $400,000 to $800,000 in value. The projected future assessed value for this housing is about $145 million. So what they're requesting is $68,858,115, which would include capital expenditures, financing, interest, and administrative expenses for the public improvements associated with this property. And they're looking at a little over or close to $500 million in private investment and debt. So I'll stand for any questions.
Is what the TIF amount is again?
$68,858,115.
Okay.
And the principal of that is how much?
Pardon?
The principal is how much?
It's a little over $34 million for
Okay,
the
and then so
principal.
the rest is interest, okay.
Ron, can I ask her a question?
Yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, so the only question I had, and I think you guys had that residential, are you allowed to do residential roads and stuff with a TIF?
No, this will just be as part of the public improvements. They can do it as part of this project as far as the economic development,
But they're not.
but they're not.
And can you put those those costs up again of what that $68,858,115 is going to be? What they're going to do with that $68 million?
Oh. Those are the proposed public improvements.
Okay, and I appreciate that. Why I'm saying that is because I told people I like TIFs, but I don't like all TIFs, and I like this TIF at this point. And yeah, I went through a big process and was giving kind of Mitch and some other people a lot of crap on this TIF for a while, just because of some of the areas where I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But then when I started looking into it and then having people smarter than me, which isn't that hard, to look at it to make sure that we were using it for infrastructure and actually some major drainage that, since I was on the city council, needed to be done, that Mitch is adding that to it. So I appreciate that. And again, if you look at these costs, they are infrastructure. So I appreciate that as well, and that's why I will be voting for this TIF. And I can tell you, wasn't really gonna really want to do a TIF for anything, but this area needs improving. The TIF is doing what it said it's going to do for the $68 million, doing the infrastructure, which we always need for Rapid City or even Pennington County, and hope for future development in that area. It helps with our sales tax as well as anybody else's if we decide to do sales tax. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Or I know Gary was on the planning commission when this went through, so you made a lot of comments there. And then, but Commissioner Hadcock touched on the drainage problems over there that we're addressing, because it seemed very simple in the past for all these developments to pass that drainage onto the county. The county doesn't have the ability to fix these drainage issues, and they don't have the ability to build super highways like Fifth Street. It's a concrete road. I believe it's like 5 lanes, am I finding that? Maybe 6 lanes. But the cost of every 1,000 feet of that thing is in the millions. Black Hills Boulevard comes off of Walmart there. Walmart's already busting at the seams over there. But the drainage over here, and I know that there's a lot of contention with the drainage. It's going to cost a lot of money to fix it. And then not only does it affect that piece right there, but it also affects the pieces downstream. So I know that the city's in some form of litigation over that, what happened down there. So I appreciate it. I will support this. So I guess I'm just looking for a motion or any other questions.
Yeah, Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Durden.
Brittany, I spoke to you on Monday and you made some changes which got posted to the agenda. Could you speak to those?
Correct. So we did update the resolutions. Can you switch? Oh, he's not here to switch over to diligent. Let's see. Did you want Mitch to speak at all? He's here.
What's that?
Did you want Mitch to speak at all while we're kind of on a break here for
Nope.
about the?
Can I ask you a question, though?
Sure.
So tell me about, I didn't really get the details on what they're doing for the county or a building or something that we were thinking about doing in this area.
So if you look in this blue section in this future area over here,
Okay.
this is going to be industrial and employment businesses.
Okay.
There's a portion that they're going to plat down in this area for future use for the county. So they're going to provide that acreage, not the building, just the acreage, to the county for future expansion
And how
of
much
county
is the
services.
acreage?
6 to 9 acres.
Okay.
And they are participating in an RFP for what it might cost. I think you brought it up about building the building and then having us buy it, basically.
Right. Thank
But
you.
it also buffers the landfill right there, so that's really,
Mr. Chair,
yes, Commissioner.
I would suggest, Mitch is here from the development team, and I would suggest we bring him up.
Yeah, let's bring him up. Where are you at, Mitch? Oh, you're so tall I couldn't see you over the computer.
That's right.
Thanks, Gary. Hi, Mitch.
Commissioners, it's good to see you. So I think I'm here. Brittany did a great job. Fortunately, Brittany basically does the whole thing for me, which is nice. But I'm here to answer any questions. I think I've had an opportunity to speak with most of you. Obviously, this is a project we've been working on for the better part of the last 12 months. This is very similar to a number of projects we're doing across the Midwest right now. So I think we've got a decent recipe for success here. And we're hopeful to be able to kick this project off in rapid. So really here just to answer any questions that you folks have on the project. Happy to get into as many details as we need to or stay high level. So just here to
I
answer
know
questions.
Gary and I were looking for the first round of golf, Top Golf.
I am too. So I was hoping you could give me that answer.
I just, since we're here and I've been through a lot of TIFs through my career, and sometimes putting them together, it's very complicated. I sat with Brittany and Jason, and I want to say that between the two of them, they didn't leave very many stones unturned.
Yeah.
You were very responsive to their questions and things like that to get through. Building Fifth Street has been a dream, I think, of a lot of Rapidians for a long time. We hope that this will get that off the ground. I mean, eventually this is slated to go all the way through to Spring Creek.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some opposition there on the other side. I'm hoping that we can work with Fern, or the city can work with the Johnsons over there on top. Giving them access to Fifth Street is going to be very good for them in the future, very good for industrial traffic through there. But I can't reiterate how much work that, I mean, there was nights and days and hours that Jason and Brittany spent beating Mitch up, trying to, make sure that they understood what they were doing. I think it went through the planning commission. Gary was there. I think the presentation was to be applauded. And
Right.
But anyway, did you want to say
There
something?
was, I don't think there was any negative comments made at the planning commission level.
Okay,
And I moved on through.
perfect.
And Mitch did a good job of explaining that to the planning commission also.
Commissioner Durr, did you look like you
Yeah.
had a question?
No, it's Jordan. Could you pull up the resolution? And go down. Brittany, did you speak to the changes that I suggested?
No, not yet. So there was just two changes. One was just addressing our administrative fee in the resolution. I think it's down about towards the end. Nope, it's the other resolution. I apologize. Yes.
Well, we have basically a TIF policy that our administrative fee is 15,000, but it was not in the resolution, and I wanted it clear that we were getting that 15,000, and I believe it's within 90 days.
I think we even get more than that, don't we? Because you're doing the TIF, is that right? or-
No, there's just a TIF application fee, and this is separate from that. No, auditor's office.
Right.
Yep.
Because again, we can charge a fee for project management, basically doing all the project analysis as part of the TIF. And then the other clarification we made was just the legal name.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there was one other one that we asked for project milestones and a development schedule to be incorporated in the developer's agreement.
Did he give you that?
Well, no, it'll be incorporated in
Oh,
the developer's
and you
agreement
agreed to
because
that.
that comes after.
Right.
So
That was something
this
you
will
guys
come
wrote
back.
into the, I know there was a million questions going back and forth that somewhat over my head, but go ahead, Commissioner
So,
Hadcock.
thank you, Rich, for giving us the time to look at your TIF. Actually, I thank Jason and Brittany because we had lots of questions for you and you answered them all. We had questions from other people, then you answered those as well. Kind of giving you heck on the backside, but we want to make sure, and you already know me by now. I like to dive into stuff and I like to see what people have to say and then go from there and make sure that those questions are answered and make sure they're done correctly. And Jerry helped with some of the resolution, Ron did some of it, and then Gary did the planning. So we vetted this pretty well with you, give you, and be up straight. I gave him a lot of hell on this
Yeah, I
deal.
was gonna say, he had a lot more hair before he started
So,
working with Deb on this deal.
I was telling him, I'm not sure about this, and, just listening to you, I need more information, and then told him, I'm not voting for this for a while. I need to dig into this, and he gave us the time, and he gave me the time, and I appreciate that, because these aren't something that you should take lightly and using taxpayer dollars to move forward. But again, I've been involved with that drainage area over there for a long time, since the city, and it's huge. And there's a huge drainage basin, and Brittany can approve to that, coming off those hills over there, and if we don't fix it, it keeps just drowning out the east side of that, or the north side of that area of Fifth Street, and has been for years. So anything that we can correct for that is gonna be huge, not only for your development, but what's going on over there. So, and that's thousands, if not millions of dollars that people in the past wanted to do a TIF on anyway. So it'll do a win-win, hopefully, for both sides of that. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Or-
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the documents in here, but Brittany, could you explain, because in here it talks about future annexation, could you explain that a little bit?
Sure. So this property is located next to the city of Rapid City limits. And when that occurs, when they file the final plat, they'll be annexed in, or they can voluntarily annex in. The developers could voluntarily annex in. Either way, they're going to be annexed into the city of Rapid City. So they'll take over all of the maintenance and things of all of the public improvements upon that annexation.
And so they'll also start collecting city sales tax. And then I think Commissioner Hadcock led to the discussion that we're going to be having here once Commissioner Drews gives us the okay to go forward with it, is about the half. I mean, I should have probably told you that we're leaning on you to get us the answer on that, about the half-cent sales tax that can be added for the county. So that would be also beneficial to us. So,
Chair.
I know. Yes, Commissioner Durr.
Yeah, and just, it's in the project plan, but could we talk about the acreage that it's looking to be donated to the county, and talk about that and what our thoughts are with that? Is that a guarantee in the project?
I think as we move through the development agreement, I think what we want to do is get a little bit more concise with the county on what their need is, right? I think that's why we've left it 6 to 9 acres, but I think over the next month, I'd probably like to continue to work with, his name's slipping my mind right now. He's slipping
Davis.
back there. Davis, good-looking guy back there, on what the county really needs on that piece.
That was Jason, actually, but
They're both good-looking.
They're
but-
both bold, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think we want to progress the conversations with you guys to see what do you need. You know, we're open to carving off a piece and conveying that to the county for $1 once the infrastructure's complete. So just need to get further details on what that looks like, but happy to insert that into the agreement so it's contractual and binding and you know you're getting that.
so my question then would be, passing this, is that contractual and binding right now?
That would be part of the developers agreement that
Okay.
will come back to this board as a
All right.
resolution as well.
And
Okay.
Brittany and Jason will be in on that developers agreement, right? The two of you guys will be helping
Correct.
Mitch. Okay. Confidence that after sitting with you guys.
Do we have to make a motion or someone
it'll be-
else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve creation of Pennington County Tax Increment Financing District Number 8 and these associated project plan pursuant to SDCL Chapter 11-9 and to accept staff's findings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thanks, Mitch, and I'm
Thank you,
sure I'm
folks.
going to be burning up your phone, so I appreciate you answering my phone calls at night and weekends and all that stuff, so. All right. As long as I'm respectful to you, so. Grand Island, here we come. Next item up for bid, sir.
D.
D. Declare illicit items as surplus for the purpose of online
It's
auction.
No,
master
no.
service agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I tore this paper here and they got two Ds, so. Move to approve the creation, okay. Master Services Agreement, okay, for VHR Software, DECT Technologies, Vacation Home. Okay, this is what we talked about before, right?
Correct.
Just give us
This
a
is-
synopsis, Brittany, and we'll, you know,
Sure.
what do you think?
This is the approval of signing the agreement, the master service agreements and statement of work for the Decker Technologies. This is the vacation home rental software that we discussed during the planning session, where the board had decided that we wanted to take a more proactive approach to vacation home rentals. This service would actually it does a strong data mining for all VHRs in the county. It provides some information on the number of rentals there are, the number of nights they're rented, what the costs. So it gives a little bit of economic background as well, but it also sends out notices to those that are not compliant with our current ordinance and doesn't have a license. Bringing all of those into compliance will counteract. It's about the cost of the software. So we're just looking for approval of the signature now. Be it, we don't have it in our budget right now, so there may be a requirement for a supplement. I'm going to work very hard to make sure that we can incorporate it into the budget and be very frugal in certain areas so that we can incorporate it without a supplement, so.
Perfect.
But I
We
just
got-
want the board to be
Sure.
aware that it may.
And we talked a little bit about that last time, so we're basically trying to bring the VRBOs into compliance to get them licensed. They haven't been doing that, and the man hours it would have taken to do it would have been cost prohibitive, so. But does anybody have any questions on this item?
Chair.
Yes.
Move to approve the chair's signature on the master services agreement statement of work for implementation of vacation home rental software in the amount of $13,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to item E. Request for a refund, Robert Druckery, Silver City Historical Society. So, hello.
Good morning, Kelsey Roush, planner. Item E is a building permit penalty refund request for Robert Druckery and the Silver City Historical Society. So the Silver City Historical Society moved a historical building from downtown Silver City onto a lot that is Forest Service land without first obtaining a building permit. When they are doing the paperwork and all the information for the Forest Service, they do require that people follow all the rules and regulations for all local, state, and federal regulations. They were unaware that they needed a building permit, so we are now fixing this. They have requested their penalty fees back in the amount of $138. The planning department does request denial of that, but that is up to you.
Chair.
Commissioner Hancock.
I've been out there and I remember that they were going to move their building and do some stuff. We went out there for ice cream socials and different stuff for the fire department. So a very good, society that does some really good work and a lot of volunteering. So I don't think $138 in those fees is going to kill Pennington County. So I would ask that we refund Silver City Historic Society the $138, or if we haven't collected it,
So we have a
not
motion
collected.
to
Second.
refund them, and I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Item from Buildings and Grounds, surplus decoration and appraisal adoption. Is this the supposed good-looking guy that was sitting in the back? All right. Davis, you have the floor, sir.
Far from good looking, but thank you. Davis Purcell, Director of Buildings and Grounds for Pennington County. Jordan, if I could have you pull up that aerial view for me. But we are doing just what the agenda item says. We're looking to surplus a few properties and then adopt the appraisals along with them. Now, I do want to make clear that these items, or I should say these properties, have been part of past discussions here in front of the commission many times about some of our long-term operational needs as a county, and especially as Buildings and Grounds. We continue to operate out of these facilities currently, but to move forward with any negotiations or discussions with developers and things like that, we do surplus these properties. And as far as I'm aware, there's really no timeline on us having to sell these properties as long as we move forward with the process here today. So as we see on the aerial view here, there are, there are 3 properties. The red one is what we call the Harley building. It used to be a Harley-Davidson building way back in the day. It's a Quonset hut. That's where we store a lot of our operational needs, a lot of our fleet, lawn, landscaping, snow removal, things like that. Then there is also a parking lot that I think a lot of the court staff utilizes. And then the other 2 buildings are on 517 3rd Street there, kind of in the alley. And that's where we do a lot of our woodwork, metal shop, building things like that, fabricating. So again, when you look at the totality of these lots, I mean, we cram a lot into these spaces currently. We are completely out of room, have been out of room for probably 10 to 20 years. And again, it's time for Buildings and Grounds to kind of set ourselves up and figure out what we can do. And obviously, some of those questions came up in the TIF that was just approved here. That is a site that the land that they're donating is absolutely an area that we are looking at. Is it ideal for an operational, functionality sort of as Buildings and Grounds where our big footprint is downtown? Not necessarily, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to add a ton of costs to operate out of a site like that. Maybe just some more transportation and things like that. But it is very difficult to find land downtown or in the downtown area that we could develop on, that we could build a shop on. But we're looking at all options. We're looking at existing facilities. I'm continuing to look at other land grabs here and there, working with the city on some items as well. So, but again, just want to make clear, even though we are surplusing these properties today, that does not mean we are trying to sell them immediately. This just opens the door to have discussions with developers. So.
Here.
We'll open up the discussions with Commissioner Hadcock.
So I've been here, 12 years, and since I've started as a Pennington County Commissioner, we've needed the infrastructure for the jail because of the old cast iron pipe, and we needed a building and ground shop. We're supposed to sell those properties, I don't know how many times, in order for buildings and grounds to get a shop. And the craziest thing we ever did was move them into a bank. We needed a shop, not a bank. We didn't need office space. We needed space to put our equipment. So for me, selling this property is good, but I would hope at this point, after 12 years of being in here, that we would find an area instead of all over Rapid City to put buildings and grounds equipment, whether it be the Harley the fairgrounds, anywhere else that they keep having to put equipment, let alone anything that we can use for equipment, not only for buildings and grounds, but maybe for the sheriff's office, or do a cost savings with highway department or something. Because they've been waiting long enough. Before, if you looked where they used to have their offices, and maybe that's why they believed that they needed offices, they didn't, but somebody else did. They used to have the closets, when I used to visit over at Buildings and Grounds, the closets that were over there were their offices. And I'm not kidding, they actually turned closets that were for cleaning stuff into their offices. So if someone doesn't deserve, meaning need, maybe not deserve, but need some space for their equipment, for their people, that actually is going to be right for that department, I think they're overdue. Meaning for everything they do, and how much, think about how much buildings and grounds area and buildings we have in Pennington County. Then ask yourself how much equipment and people that takes to take care of that. And for them, they're pretty important. They're very important, and it's a good team. So for me, also, the Innovation District, we've made that first step for the bank. They're going to make that huge. I'm excited. I'm watching downtown. I'm watching something I had started years and years ago on the city council as a downtown district person. We're doing the east side. Pennington County, that's what I think is pretty amazing, has been a part of that. It's been a part of that because we've looked at and said, okay, and Mr. Davis, thank you. You made that happen with the bank. And this is another piece of that we can let one of the downtown district people turn some more innovation in that area and be excited to see, and I keep saying, and I was excited back when we first started it with the city, that east side is gonna like step up with the west side and make the heart of our city even better. And being a part of that as a city council person and now a county commissioner, I think that's pretty amazing. And you could see, because they did that tip, maybe the ice cream shops coming, they did property meld, they're creating jobs at the bank. I don't know what else we could do to help them, but I think we've done a big step and a big help for downtown Rapid City as Pennington County commissioners, as Pennington County Buildings and Grounds. Davis, you've been a huge part of that. So anything we can do to surplus this and look for the future of where we can put that equipment. I don't know what that goal is right now. I don't know what that area is going to look like. If there's a timeline on this, then that's going to be a problem trying to sell it, because you already know, and I had talked to someone that was looking at it. We need to figure out what is best for our buildings and grounds at this time. Like I said, because it's been 12 years. And if we could do something for buildings, we used to use, and here's the problem. We had, what's it called? What's the fund? It's not the bonding, it's the accumulated building.
Yeah.
That money back in the day was supposed to be used for buildings and grounds building, by the way. And it was used up for other stuff. And I've been here long enough, and you know that, if I'm telling you that, it was supposed to be for buildings and grounds building. It was never used for that. People kept using it for other stuff. So for me, if we could sell these buildings, if we could figure out, hopefully, with Davis and this team of commissioners, where we can find a great place to put his equipment, help the sheriff's office, work with the highway, and get something that was going to actually be workable for buildings and grounds, I think it'd be pretty amazing for what's going to happen in his team and his district for taking care of our stuff. So, thank you.
Commissioner Hadcock. Commissioner Drew, anything over there?
Yeah, I just have a comment. It's the fact the county is leasing, the old Ziggy's building for the sheriff's office. I think you're utilizing some of it. Is that right or not?
No, Buildings and Grounds does not.
All right. So anyway, I'm not into, which I talked about last year during the budget process, I'm not into, all the property that we have, all the buildings we have, and then we're leasing additional space. And the cost of that lease, I think, is going to be better served if we could find a building to co-locate the entire thing. So I'm going to make a motion pursuant to SDCL 613-1 and 613-2 to declare a surplus the following Pennington County owned properties. 516 4th Street, legally described as original town of Rapid City, Block 87, lots 17 through 20. 517 3rd Street, legally described as Lot A, Block 87, original town of Rapid City. And St. Joseph Street parking lot, legally described as lots 25, 26, and Block 87, original town of Rapid City. As the real property described herein is no longer necessary, useful, or suitable for the purpose for which it was acquired, and to adopt an independent appraisal prepared by Simpson and Associates dated August 20th of 2025, with the appraisal reports to be on file with the Pennington County Auditor.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you, Davis.
Thank you, Davis, and I think that we can commend Director Davis for the amount that he's taken on and what he's saved the county for not having. They do a lot in-house now, and he has the expertise to do some things that we couldn't do before. So, Mr. Shannon, you're up to bat, sir.
Good morning, Commission. Shannon Rittberger, Director of Equalization. So there's two things in front of you. The first one should be short and simple. There's a request to the Commission to grant one of our appraisers a single step raise. We are replacing a commercial appraiser with one of our residential appraisers, and we have a difficult time doing this in our office because a commercial appraisal position is a different set of appraisal practices, a little bit more complicated. There's more education that goes into it, and they deal with significantly higher valued properties, a more intense appeal process. They tend to argue with attorneys. And it's difficult for us to get one of our residential appraisers to step into that position, take on all of that responsibility if they make the same pay. So historically, we have granted our commercial appraisers a step raise to just recognize what they're taking on, give them something. It isn't much of a pay increase, but it's something we can do for them, and I'd appreciate it if you'd grant Scott Dressler that step raise.
Commissioner Durr, did you have something to say on this one?
I'm just going to say that we have a senior appraisal position, correct, but we don't have one for a commercial appraiser.
We have staff appraisers and we have senior appraisers. Senior appraisers are, after they've acquired the knowledge and experience, and I think it's 4 years working in the office, they're eligible for senior appraisers. Our commercial appraisers are senior appraisers, but that's not required to be a commercial appraiser. But with the job duties, we just pick senior appraisers to be commercial appraisers. They're still appraisers. They're still appraising properties. But in the office, there's a position for staff appraiser and then senior appraiser.
All right.
I guess this fellow's taking on a senior appraiser role?
He currently is a senior appraiser. We want to move him into commercial property appraisal.
But there's not a job description for it?
There's not a job description for that. It's just our appraisers specialize.
Okay.
It's easier for them.
It would make sense to me. That's why I'm saying. But
yeah.
Commissioner Durr, I'm going to lean on you on this one. On this, I don't.
So, yeah, my comment on this is going to be that this goes back to a policy question. It's not about the individual for me. It goes back to our policy. And so the commission approved a COLA and a step increase. And if you look at the personnel changes every month, you're seeing that there are opportunities for multiple employees to get more than one step increase for various reasons, all of which was unbudgeted. And so my only comment about this is the fact that we need to go into our job descriptions, which we've talked about, and we need to clean up our 290 job descriptions. And the wage scale that got adopted in 2024, in my opinion, is kind of a train wreck. And so I'm going to go ahead and make an motion to approve this.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, Shannon, is this like this is your last meeting with us then, or?
It is the last meeting, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
So-
I wanted to say thank you for what you
Oh,
just did.
well, can we-
But yes, this is the last meeting I'm going to be in
Okay.
front of the commission. And in fact, I'm pretty confident that you'll never see me again in any capacity.
Do we say thank you, Jesus? Just kidding.
Yeah. We had a conversation, I don't know, a week or two ago, and he's going to come in and represent everybody against us on appeals.
That's what I thought.
So-
That was the plan. And we're
that
gonna
is
be
not
giving
true.
out, I'm going to be giving out your number to these people. I mean, I know you have a lot of outside interests, so I assume that when you say that, you're probably right. I mean, you're like firefighting and the ambulance stuff, and
I'm going to go do
maybe-
something different.
I'm sure you'll probably have a role in helping with the ambulance districts. I'm assuming, maybe not. I mean, that's
I've already helped with Custer County and Pennington County, what's been going on, because the position with the assessor's office is the data we use to estimate how much money could be collected. So I've been doing that for a couple of years.
I thought more so coming from your expertise in the firefighting business, and maybe that.
I'm much smarter as a county assessor than
Okay.
I am a firefighter or an EMT.
Okay, well, we appreciate, yeah. We won't touch that one, Shannon. We appreciate your service and thank you, and
Yeah.
I think you left it in good hands with Trevor.
Yes.
He
Yep. Trevor and Gordon
got him
both,
some-
they're
we
going
got
to be a
him some-
good team.
We got him some cast iron underwear to wear. But you know how that goes, and we appreciate that, and it's not easy sometimes, having to go in and tell people this is what their property's worth, and then sometimes not understanding how it affects or doesn't affect their property taxes. So we appreciate your service, and good luck to you in all your future endeavors. I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll have fun. You're excited about the fact that you're going to be able to do what you want to do every day. So
Yep. Thank you for that.
thank you, Shannon. Oh,
Yeah.
let's-
That's the next one, appointment of
let's
Director
move to
of
the next item.
Equalization.
To appoint Trevor Abernathy as Pennington County Director of Equalization at grade P5, 1, Step 150, 18, effective June 7th, 2026.
I have a discussion before we make a second.
You
Yeah,
can
It's
go
a
have-
ahead,
question I have.
Tune in.
So Jordan, the grade P5-1, Step 1, is that the entry-level position for a director?
For the Director of Equalization, yes.
So Step 1,
Yes.
okay. I would support the motion if it's a Step 2.
Well, we could,
I'm good with that.
okay, so we amend that first motion.
Grade
to be-
P5, 1, Step 2,
Okay.
and then what's that amount then, Jordan?
Yep, one
Perfect.
moment, let me
Thank
pull
you.
that up.
There's some method behind his madness, but he's not going to tell us, but
No, it's probably because who's second?
he's got to.
No, it's because we have somebody that's been here for a while and been really stepping up to the plate and doing the job for a few months. And if we were just to go out and hire somebody off the street, we would probably
Agree.
bring them in at a higher rate.
Trevor's good at what he does.
All right, so the Step 1 was $50.18 per hour, even though it's a salaried position. A Step 2 would be $51.15 per hour, for a total annually of $106,392.
Okay, so my motion is to move to appoint Trevor Abernathy as a Pennington County Director of Equalization at grade P5, 1, Step 2, 51.15 an hour, 106,392, effective June 7th, 2026.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Trevor, and,
Trevor, you'd like to come up and say something?
yeah.
Come on, Trevor.
You got to get used
Stay
to it,
with
brother.
Shannon.
Yeah, this-
Shannon, you have
We're
anything to say
looking
about
forward to those
Trevor?
equalization meetings
Yeah.
where we just rail on you.
You're not going to say anything about your next in line there?
Yeah. Hey, Trevor, I got this last night. I'll just give it to you. Somebody gave this to me last night, wanted to know why their property went up 311% assessed value, so.
Has the name Jerry
I will
Durr on
gladly
it.
look into that, yes.
Hit the ground running, Trevor.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, thank you for the opportunity to train under Shannon and step into this role. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you all, so.
Thank you, Trevor.
Just remember, it's your
Thank you,
baby,
Tram-
you're running it.
Shannon,
it's
for your
show.
service.
But you're accountable for it, so just make sure your employees are having a good time and they're doing their jobs, and everybody's accountable, and you probably won't even see us. most of the time. Only when Jerry needs his property tax assessment adjusted. You're gonna have to pay Trevor more money than you were paying Shannon, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys have a good team.
We do, yes, thank you.
I don't know how Shannon ended up getting that team, but Trevor, you'll do well with them.
All right, let's go on to the next item here, update reports.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
No, okay.
All right. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I get jumped ahead.
Highway,
Yep,
Number
Section
12.
12.
I should have never pulled these papers apart, I'm sorry, guys.
number 12.
Okay, number 12, authorization to purchase bulk diesel and gas products. Smoking Joe, are you here? If you guys get some rubber stuck on your tire out in the parking lot, that's Joe's fault. So call Joe, don't call me.
I won't deny that. You can definitely call me. We're working on a solution with Davis to
I know.
remedy it. So
I know, I'm just had to harass you.
that's all right.
You're always good about that. I've never had any problem with you not being on top of things, so.
All right, up in front of you here is our annual fuel bid, authorization to purchase Burke diesel fuel gas products from the state contract. So there's several different ways you can do this. This is one of the best ways that we've found, is to purchase off the state contract that they bid, and then it ebbs and flows. I think they do it a week average, and then they adjust that price. When we order fuel, we get that week's price or that 2-week price, basically. So other counties, you can go out and if they can get 3 quotes and do it that way, which is allowed for in the bid laws. So with that, all the vendors that are part of the state contract have agreed to sell us fuel. Again, this year, there's only one that's changed, and that's down in Wall, the one for the delivery down in Wall. Several different entities throughout the county. The sheriff uses this, 911 uses this, Fire, Natural Resources, the DOT, and even the school district next door to us use our pumps at the highway shop there. Comes to a pretty good cost savings to them. As you can see in the memo there, the current price as of the writing, it's come down about 10 cents now, but was $4.37 at the pump, and we pay $3.28. So over the last couple of years, that's saved us quite a bit of money. 2025, that $1.09 savings would have equated to about $262,000 in savings. And we purchased 240 gallons of fuel that's both diesel and gasoline. So we primarily use diesel for ours and gasoline for our pickups, and then the sheriff is actually the largest user of the gasoline. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to authorize Iowa Department to purchase bulk diesel and gas products from the state contract list for contract number 17996 Harms Oil, Brookings, South Dakota, and contract number 18000 Moyle Petroleum, Rapid City.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Appreciate it, Joe. This is something that can be done when we work together. We're working on some other projects of trying to bring other contracting prices into centralized locations. We just got a lot to chew, but we're moving, and I think that this is awesome that you got all the city, everybody coming over there to fuel up, and so.
Saved quite a bit of money throughout the county. So. The next up in front of you here is a modification to the Black Hills National Cooperative Forest Road Agreement. So we've been entering into an agreement with the Black Hills National Forest for decades. And this is just a modification to that master agreement. The federal government updated some of their terms. Essentially, it's administrative changes to this that needed to be done. Unfortunately, we don't really have a choice if we want to continue to work with them. It's just a bunch of administrative changes. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion to approve modification number 1 to agreement number 24RO110203000-003 with the Black Hills National Forest Service to incorporate new USDA Forest Service general terms and conditions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Joe.
Next one is another agreement with the Black Hills National Forest for crushing aggregate at the Dry Beaver Quarry. So in order to crush at a Forest Service pit, we have to have an agreement with them to do the crushing. So that's what you're seeing here. It's in conjunction with that main road agreement. We have to have the main road agreement to be able to do this. The Forest Service is interested in crushing right alongside us. And this agreement gets $100,000 of material to the Forest Service. We've planned for this in our 2027 provisional budget. So this would be crushed in 2027. So
Thank you.
with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Chair,
Commissioner Durham.
I'm going to move to approve agreement number 26 RO 110203000-012 with the Black Hills National Forest Service for aggregate crushing in the dry beaver quarry.
I'll second that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move on to, now I can say thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Ron.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Commission.
Go to item 13, items for Commissioner's Office, the HR Generalist, HR Manager position. I just want to say that there's been a lot of work going into this, and I appreciate Commissioner Durr's efforts on this. I don't think people quite see that sometimes. There's a lot of things that we're working on, and with all our positions and our pay, right now we don't have a HR director. We have two people that have stepped up, great personalities, great attitudes. So we're trying to find a way to get them to that point with making sure that we have a very positive HR department that supports supports not only the community but it supports the employees, and that they got a strong backbone there. We've got a great start. So with that being said, Jordan, I think you're the guy that's going to fill us in here and kind of give us a direction and maybe an update on where we're with
Absolutely.
director applications and how
yeah,
we see
that'll
this
come
going forward.
later.
I know we need to get some, these two are definitely able to hire generalists if we can get a job description made for that. I think that's what you're going with, but go ahead.
That has been the request. And so, yeah, I'll kind of go a large overview here, and then we can dig into the details if we need to with this. So, per the direction from the commission at the May 5th meeting, the board is asked right now to be considering revised job descriptions, primarily because of just what you said, Commissioner Weifenbach, that we want to try to fill positions as quickly as possible, and we can't fill a position if we don't have an approved job description. We do technically have two different HR generalist job descriptions on the books right now, one from Sheriff's Office and one from HR. Both of them are a little bit outdated, though, and they don't reflect the model that the board approved when we set up the new structure for the HR Consolidated Office. Mm-hmm. And so what we're looking at right now are two different job descriptions, one for the HR manager, because before it said that it reported to the sheriff, now it's going to be reporting to the HR director, and one for the HR generalist position that also will report to the HR director with the updated responsibilities that we anticipate for them, where they'll be handling a very generalized multitude of HR tasks as opposed to being specific to any one area. And so, as I noted here in my memo, HR did have some concerns with the proposals, just two main concerns that the board's going to want to think about when they're making this determination. And so they also have provided some updated, or I guess alternative position descriptions. One of the big things was the HR manager. They were requesting that it have direct supervisory responsibility over the HR generalists. The commission office did not agree with that, but they've made their case in their memo, and we've made our case. If you want to go through that, I can explain that for the public a little bit.
I got one question. I talked about that. Is there, now this would take place, I mean, I see where we're trying to head, but right now we got a gap.
Yes.
And we got two great people filling that gap. I don't necessarily interested in changing a lot of what they're doing right now, but I understand we have to have a job description for our jobs for the HR generalists moving forward.
Correct. And yeah, one of the biggest things to
then
note.
are we looking at changing those job descriptions or seeing what's going to happen involving with the new director, or what is the plan there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's going to be an evaluation period for sure.
Okay, so
and
there's
that will
nothing
be,
we have to do with those two right now?
Well, I mean, I would still ask that we get these updated and approved as we've presented today, and then knowing that when the HR director is in, they'll have recommendations, they'll have things that they'll want to provide for the office. So this is what we came up with, a framework to say that this is how we think HR should function, but we'll see how things develop as we finish the transition, as we get people hired.
I just don't want to go out and get the cart in front of the horse and get
Absolutely.
and get somebody that's not going to serve the purpose of what we see as a vision. What we see as a best practices division. We see as a very strong person who's got some strong people, a good core right now. I know there's only 3 of them there, but they're a good core.
Absolutely.
So, and they can help us with this transition, right? I mean, they've been doing all the work right now, and then you have control of the payroll, which has been going. I mean, Cheyenne's been a dynamite in there, man. What a great attitude, great personality, taking on all the changes with the payroll and just taking it in stride.
Yeah, if I could do a quick side note on that, we are advertising for that payroll, we're interviewing, for that payroll specialist position tomorrow and Friday. So hopefully we'll get that filled
Burton,
ASAP.
tell us those 2 areas, what you were saying from the beginning. You said it was the direct supervision, and what was the other one?
Oh, sorry, yes, the second issue, I apologize.
Sorry, Chair.
The second issue was going to be salaried versus hourly for the generalist position. The commission office is recommending that it be hourly until we figure out all the functions, where everything lies. In my mind, I just didn't want to risk getting, in a conflict with FLSA exemptions. And so I figured by default, we can just make it hourly, and that determination can be made by the HR director when they're finally hired.
And that would just be for the generalist, not the
Just for
manager?
the generalist,
Okay.
yep.
But the other question I have is, I mean, we're putting a lot of effort forward, and I know sometimes things seem slow. It's like we think we're going to get to a point, and then something like pulls the rug out or pulls a monkey wrench at us. But I think we're heading in the right direction on this one.
I think we're almost done with these discussions.
I mean, I know, and Commissioner Durham, I'm going to hear from you, I'm sure, but I know all the work you've put in with it, and I know
Yvonne?
Sage and Yvonne, what a great crew there. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page, so when we leave here, that we understand that we have a specific mission, and that's to find the best possible director that we can find that fits into what we're trying to do here, and trying to, make have them be able to take on a lot more responsibility, since we got rid of the building and grounds building. Davis has taken that over, but like the healthcare and stuff like that, we can't leave that on the commission.
Right.
That's got to be handed
Chair.
off at some point.
So Ivana, if you would come up and Sage. So Ivana, the direct supervision issue with gives the director direct oversight over HR staff. Tell me why the function as intermediate management and that direct supervision, directory supervision authority is important, and then Sage, why hourly or salary difference needs to be changed at this point, if you have an objection or not an objection on either of those things, because those are the 2 things coming your guys' way.
Yeah,
Hold
absolutely.
on one second before you start. Can we make it clear, Jordan, what we're talking about? So, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? So all the commissioners are clear when
Absolutely.
they start conversing. Are we talking about their current positions
The
now?
current position descriptions, yes,
Right.
we need them updated.
They're just
And they're in agreement with the job descriptions, with everything but these 2 points where we disagree, and that's why we're having this discussion as to, well, where is the board
So
gonna
are we
lean on it?
trying to make that change right now?
Yes.
Or are we waiting to make that change when the director comes
We
in?
need to make a change now so that we can have the approved job description, so that we can go out and advertise for the new generalist positions. Then the director will be evaluating it once they're brought on board.
What does that change what they're doing? Would that change?
It won't change what they're doing. Nope.
It won't change what those 2 are doing
This was
now?
intended to reflect what they're currently doing.
So Ron, what I'm asking is, so Yvonne is the HR generalist or
Manager.
manager, right?
Yeah.
So her job description would change in one area, and that's the direct supervision. So that's why I'd like to know from her. Number 2, the hourly versus salary, why they believe they should stay salary or hourly, and so also the public, why we wouldn't change it, why we need to change it. Yeah. So Yvonne, if you would ask or basically tell us why that supervisory, or why it can be changed later, or what you're thinking.
Yes,
for that.
absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. So I did provide my memo to the board. I hope that you guys had the opportunity to do that. But just in case, essentially, when I transitioned into this role, I was informed that I would be the operational lead within HR. Because of that, I think that, I'm being assigned responsibility of operational outcomes, but I'm also not having that corresponding authority to do so. So the biggest thing for me is that when it comes to having this position to coordinate work, provide direction, ensure consistency, and be accountable for the department operations, it's best practice to align those responsibilities with appropriate supervisory authority. So without alignment, the position carries responsibility for results but lacks authority and necessarily manage the priorities, workloads, and day-to-day execution. So that is one of my biggest points, but I also feel when you're integrating functions and we're centralizing HR functions, during a time like this, clear lines of accountability and leadership are critical to maintaining continuity of service, supporting departments throughout the organization. So my recommendation is simply that the HR manager position includes direct supervision of the HR generalist under the overall direction of the human resource director.
Thank you. And how about you on salaries, Miss? You've been here, Miss Sage, for a while, and
Yes.
salary versus hourly, what that means to the public who's paying the taxes or paying your salaries, and what it means to us commissioners, why we should change or not change.
Yes, absolutely. And I'd also like to say thank you for taking this time to speak with us. We really appreciate it. As we are right now, as exempt employees, the responsibilities that we handle as HR generalists do take us outside of our regular scheduled hours that we do in the day. There are people who are reaching out to us after hours, that projects that are taking us beyond the hours of the day, whether we want to or not. We're also managing our own time to make sure that that is not happening as a regular basis, but it is expected. We are required to get these projects done for the departments. As it stands, we are looking at it as more cost effective to remain at that exempt status. As it is stated in the memo that Jerry and Jordan had provided, one of our HR generalists had stated working 70 hours. Now, that individual is also working with the sheriff's office, and the amount of work that she has to respond to candidates, to help with scheduling background, drug screenings, all these items, it does take work outside of hours. Not that that's what we want, but that is what happens. And so if we are tracking that additional hours that we're working, we're going to be doing that time and a half.
Do you see, Sage, without trying to interrupt you,
Absolutely.
a lot of overtime that would happen?
Yes.
If you did not?
Yes. As it stands right now in our current job functions, yes, that would happen. For me, I'm typically I'm staying an hour and a half later just to make sure that the functions of our HR department are up to standard, while still trying to maintain a work-life balance. That is extremely important.
So Sage, let me interrupt you again.
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
honey. So if you get more people, remember, because you're down, do you think that would make the difference, or do you just think it's just going to be the same added to it? Meaning with that other person, the other two people, is that going to cut it down so it's not so many hours, it's not more overtime, and is that going to fix some of the problem that you're talking about?
I can't speak to that yet. I would like to say yes. But again, the work that we do, again, people are still reaching out to us after hours. Individual projects to completion that may take us outside of our hours. Again, trying to monitor that and not going far and beyond the required hours, but it will happen. I also foresee that with the new director in place, that with many of these projects that are coming down the pipeline with a timeline that's pretty tight, we're going to be also handling a lot of that delegation to us as well. And so that I don't believe that even with bringing in 2 additional people, that's going to necessarily change the workload, especially when we're going to be training in a new HR director and we'll be training in new generalists. So we'll be handling that training as well as our own projects. And so there's that. I understand that desire to go to hourly. I don't foresee it being a smart decision for the taxpayers.
Thank you. So why I ask that is because they do the job, and I respect that all the work that has been done here, but I also have to understand that we're going to hire a department head. And if they come in and they see what Jordan and Jerry are seeing and they say, okay, we don't need a direct supervision, Ivana. For me, and I told Ivana that today, I always need a second. I always need the direct person while I'm doing the other work, and they take care of like the day-to-day basically, and she's managing the people that we work with, even though she's coming to me and telling me their problems, or she or he. So I get the direct supervision, and I like the second with me. How about that? So I don't have an issue with that. For salary or hourly, I would hope once we get that director as well, that they can figure out a budget and figure out it's not worth having exempt or non-exempt, wherever which way they go. I would like that person to be able to figure that out. And I like these two. I like their honesty. I think they're not going to tell us something just because it's about them. It's about the position. So if I thought differently, and people know that by now with wages and different things, that's why I asked you the questions, to be honest to people that are listening to you, be honest to the job. Those two things I would change or basically leave the same for directs. I like the direct supervision, and I like the salary at this time until we kind of change, and we will have a budget and hopefully a new director by then to figure out those changes can be done still. So I agree with Jordan and Jerry on some of those changes, but I'd like to hear from a director that also is going to be making that budget going, okay, guys, there's no way we can do exempt, or we have to do exempt because of watching how we do our business here with HR. We need those after-hour people, and we don't need to pay that extra overtime to try to figure this out to take care of our employees. So unless...
And I do want to add one point that right now, the current classification for the HR generalist is exempt. So it would be a change to the non-exempt, yeah.
Do you guys have something to add that I missed, or?
No, I'm just going to comment on the current job description. You are correct. The generalist description that we have is currently exempt. The current generalist position that we have also states that the position reports directly to the HR director. The director's job, Jordan, if you'd pull up the org chart.
Sure.
So when we advertised for an HR director, the position that we approved and advertised was that all of these individuals at that time, we didn't have an HR manager because we did not have a consolidation at that point in time. But the org chart that the commission approved under the hybrid option number 4 was an HR director, HR manager off to the side, not having direct supervision over the HR generalist, and the job description that we advertised says the HR director supervises the HR staff. The previous existing director position that was under the previous director said that the HR staff reported directly to the HR director. We had a position of senior HR manager. That generalist was promoted into a senior HR manager position, which we no longer have. At least it's not adopted on the org chart. And that position did not have direct supervisory authority based on the job description over the generalist staff. It was they supported the operations. That position kind of managed the benefit plan and some of those things, and did some of the other onboarding. But all employees in the previous org chart that we had reported directly to the director without having a secondary position in there that says all staff report directly to either the senior or, in this case, an HR manager. And when we looked at the model that we adopted, Minnehaha County has an HR director, 4 generalists, and a staff support. There is no mid-level management in the Minnehaha County office. They're all generalists. They are hourly. And so before we hire an HR director, I'm not looking to put somebody and basically usurp the authority that we've advertised for, wherein it says the one that we've approved and advertised for, the director, HR director, is managing all of the HR staff. And so, and again, it's only an office of 6 people, and that's kind of my point. I'm not hung up on the hourly exemption status. Minnehaha County is hourly, and I did have a conversation with the director, Carol Deaver, why did you decide to go hourly? And she said to be conservative, and have you had a problem managing that? And she said no. The one caveat that I'm going to give is one thing I'm going to denote, and I'll say it is, as far as dealing with our personnel and kind of different things that we're dealing, our policies that we have with our personnel and our personnel manual, our pay and all of those things, we've identified those issues where we were in non-compliance with federal law. And so we are going back to make those adjustments to get into compliance. And when I hear somebody, and I know it's an exception, but when I hear like an employee say that I believe that HR is a 24/7 hour operation, I don't agree unless it's an emergency routine business. I think can be conducted during business hours, not that I have to answer an email at 9 o'clock at night, that we would even have that exception, because it goes back to it where I think it is important that we recognize the things that we do as employers, that we recognize that there is a work-life balance, and it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm in an HR office and I have to be on duty 24/7. There are emergencies that come up, but I believe those are emergencies. And so you can also get into trouble if you advertise, and I'm going to, only because it got discussed, but I'm curious if it's happening throughout the county. So you look at the risk to an organization, and so you can say it's going to be a cost savings not to pay somebody time and a half to do the job. And I think if the job regularly requires somebody to work over 40 hours a week and you've exempted that position, then you need to go back and look at that job description, the classification, and you need to look at that workload. And so even though you have exempt positions and you say, I've advertised this position, it's exempt, and you know, you interview people and you say that you're expected to work, you know, Monday through Thursday and Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week, you are exempt, and so there are those opportunities where you're going to have to exceed that. And so, but if you have an exempt position that is regularly working more than that 40-hour work week, and let's say it's 50 or 60 hours a week, and that can also be a risk to the employer, because they can come back and say, this is not a fair employer-employee relationship. And there are case law where exempt staff have come back and said, you misclassified me. I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week and you owe me this, and you pay it. And so the other thing, and it's a comment unrelated to this, and I'll talk about it during the budget cycle as we get a new HR director on board, but I would also like to see the policy change after we get a new director and have a discussion about the fact that currently our exempt staff does not report time. And you can ask exempt staff to report their work hours during the week, and you have those anomalies, like if somebody puts down 6, you're not going to, you know, withhold their pay for that 2 hours and treat them like an hourly employee. But I would like to see an exempt deal. I ran the numbers on our exempt positions. I think we have about 133 exempt employees in the county, and I look at some of the positions where the employees are exempt, and I question whether or not those employees can be exempt, and if that's a future risk that will come to the organization. And so those will be discussions that we get on board. But one, we currently have an HR manager position on file that shows it reports to the sheriff. And on that org chart, it says that that HR manager manages, go ahead and explain what your old job description managed.
So I managed the HR generalist at the sheriff's office. I oversaw the CNP and also the wellness coordinator.
All right. And in one of our meetings, then, we also need to address those job descriptions that she used to supervise at the sheriff's office, because they were a direct report to that position, which is no longer there. So I do believe we need an HR manager position. I don't believe it should be a direct oversight of the generalist. I would like to see the HR director come in and say whether or not they wanted to have somebody second in charge. And I'm okay with leaving the HR generalist position exempt. And then I would also like to see, getting back to what Commissioner Adcock said, that we evaluate that workload, because I think it is important. And I appreciate the fact that everybody steps up during this time, because we've been absent an HR director since really last fall. even though we didn't get an official resignation until January, I believe. So we've been operating, in essence, 6+ months without an HR director. So anyway, those are my comments.
Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Hadcock.
So what I see is the difference, and I thank you, because I think we need to look at exempt and hourly, and I think we should on that budget, but I'm not willing to change it right now. How about that? I think if we leave it, and then we also, like I said, if we hire someone, they're going to come in and say, Jerry, you're right. Sage should be exempt, whatever should be hourly, whatever they need to do, they're going to know, hopefully, when they come in. I like it on the HR generalist, because if it's direct oversight, no, I'm not gonna be the director and have direct oversight from Ivana. No offense, Ivana, but if I have direct supervision, that's a different term than oversight. If oversight makes it sound like that I'm in charge of these people and they made me in charge of them. But when I talk about supervision, that means I'm supervising them with you if they need help, if you're not available. That, to me, sounds a lot different than oversight, Jerry. So if she has supervision, that's a little bit different. She also has qualifications with law enforcement and other things that other people don't have. So I have a feeling that she's going to have a lot of direct supervision with a lot of people in that office just to train them on some of the things she knows as well. So like I said, Jerry, I get it, if it's oversight and she thinks she's in charge, that's a lot different than supervision of some people helping, like Jordan Kenner would help supervise and be supervision of people. If he thinks he's going to get direct oversight of the people, that's a whole different terminology. So for me, I don't mind making that HR generalist position a direct supervision and leaving that in there. And then again, if that doesn't work and Ivana's too bossy and too direct, that director can go, okay, we're changing this. We're not having Ivana or anybody else in that position be direct supervision anymore. I can do it myself. We'll just take that out. So I like it right now. She's doing it right now. Let's let her do that direct supervision. Thank you.
Thanks.
I do have one more comment, just to speak to the classification. I did just want to add that we did look at the FSLA, FLSA. I did the same thing as you, Jordan. So when you're looking at that, you also want to look, does the position require specialized knowledge? Does it have the component where you have independent judgment, discretion, decision-making? I think those are all components to a generalist, and it's not just speaking to what they're doing hourly. I don't think this is status quo for our hours. I don't think that's what's going to be when we're fully staffed. Right now, we are running at 50% capacity in staffing, so that's not going to be the status quo. But I do think that when it comes to this, you have to look at the position and does it have these components which are in line with the standards, and I think that it is for an exempt position. So.
No, that's the one thing I appreciate about both of you, you stand by what you say, and I think that we've got the development of a really good department happening. We don't want to mess it up, but I think that talking about the HR generalists being exempt, I don't think they should be exempt. But we have a unique situation right now with Sage and with you, but I have no problem paying Sage if she works more hours or whatever, or you, because I was in an organization that did just that they exempted people, and they didn't have the authority to exempt those people, and you have to go back and recreate, pay them back. We have a couple of incidents like that in our county already where people weren't getting paid correctly, and I'm thinking all this stuff is starting to, now as it raises its head and comes to the top, and now I think we've got the beginnings of a great organization that's going to catch that stuff ahead of time by actually having the ability to assert themselves. I think you got two people willing to do that.
So, Chair, I'd like to make a motion,
okay.
But Jordan, if we could, that direct supervision, I'd like to leave that in there, and then the salary at this point, so everything else with my motion would stay the same except for those two areas.
So what are we making the HR generalists in the future exempt?
With this motion, it would
exempt.
make them exempt, yes.
Oh, that would make them exempt?
With this motion, yes. salaried and the HR
I really
manager
have a
had
hard
direct
time
supervision.
with the exempt statuses because like I said, we got 130 of them with 900 people.
Well,
That's like
and that was my proposal, is once we get the director,
20% of the people.
when we start looking at all of them,
But here's what, if
they
we-
have to have an
my
understanding
point
that
is
they might
these
be
guys need
taken
to
out.
hire some people.
That's why I'm saying, so let them work exempt until they get that other 50% with them, so
But if
they can do their
If they hire
job.
these people and they go out and they got a job description that says they're gonna be exempt, and then we're gonna change them to non-exempt, am I seeing something incorrectly
No,
here?
that's, again, that was one of the comments I would
I
have
mean,
with
the one
this.
thing that's important to me is the quality of life. And being a manager all my life, the quality of life, people that, I've never come to an organization such as this where people have all this accrued time off. And I'm like, first of all, it's impossible that can happen. Secondly, it's like, that's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your physical health. It's not good for the people that you work with. It's not good for this environment. So if you're working all the time and not taking any time off just so you can get some kind of payout in the end, that's not what the whole purpose of vacation time, PTO, all that stuff was. And I think we've got Ivana's position settled that it's going to be exempt and that we need
Direct
this position,
supervision.
and at least to let a director resolve that position.
Yep.
When we do this, and we want to make sure we get the right person in whatever time it takes, but then they need to hire some HR people. I don't want them to hire people and say you're going to be exempt and then say, oh, no, now you're going to be non-exempt.
Well, you're doing that to Sage, are you exempt,
that's-
Sage?
Currently, yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so you
Well,
didn't
I
hire
have no
those.
problem paying her if she works overtime.
Yeah, if I could jump in real quick. These position descriptions that we presented are future state. Right now, we're in an interim transition, so duties, hours, everything is going to be in flux.
When we
and
advertise
so-
for it, we'll be advertising for the future positions, and what are we putting
yeah,
on there?
we're gonna
Are we putting on there
advertise
exempt or
for-
non-exempt?
In my preference, I would recommend, my recommendation is that this be hourly right now.
Well, that would be my
And
recommendation.
can be
but
made salary
I
in the
wanna make
future.
sure
But
it's clear.
the motion right now.
But I want to have Ivana's job the same, and then it's not fair to Sage. I mean, but I guess something else may pan out in the interim time. I don't
Well,
I don't want to be unfair to her either.
Can't you do the same? What you're saying is you make the direct supervision, leaving Ivana the same, leaving Sage the same, and then the new ones are non-exempt.
Ooh, we'd have to make new descriptions then.
Because you have,
Advertising for two new HR generalists, you're not advertising for her position anymore.
But if their duties are the same.
right, but the job description is the same, the
Yeah.
pay rate is the same, the scale is the same. So I'm going to jump on a motion so we can move along. I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the HR generalist position as presented by the commission office with the change that it would be exempt versus hourly.
And
I
that's
do
with
wanna add
direct
that-
supervision.
You guys
And the
good with
approval
that?
of the HR manager, is that going to be included in the motion?
No, it's going to be a separate motion.
Okay, gotcha.
You guys are good with that one?
The current position presented by the commission office does not have the HR manager as the direct
Yeah,
supervisor.
they're going to make it different.
So they'll make the adjustment.
We're handling that separately, correct? Or
No.
No, I don't want to change the job description for the HR generalist as we advertise it. I believe it's a second discussion because I do believe the HR generalist should report to the HR director. We can have a separate discussion, which I'm likely going to support, that the HR manager job description has supervisory
So say
oversight.
your motion again, Jerry.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna-
see where we're trying to go. We're all trying to go in the same direction.
Yeah, I'm going to make my motion is to approve the updated HR generalist job description as presented by the commission office with the exception of the recommendation of hourly and keep it exempt.
Okay, second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. There are none. Motion carries. So it's going to be an exempt position.
And then this-
Now, the HR manager position is a discussion in the org chart, then you're wanting the HR management position to have some oversight
Direct
of the
supervision,
staff.
not oversight, direct supervision.
Well, basically, if it, I see where it's going to go. It's going to lead that direction anyway. Even if she has a title or not a title, it would have to lead to that direction anyway because we have no other choice right now.
All right, then my motion is going to be to approve the HR manager position as presented by the commission office with the change that the HR manager has supervisory authority.
Second.
Yeah, I mean, I do have my own job description if you guys want to look at that one as well, but I'm okay with whatever the board feels is the best decision.
I think we're good with that, Ivana, except we got to make sure that you're the.
We can adjust this too as we go, because right now we're in a dynamic world. I don't
Right,
wanna-
we need to get an HR director hired.
But we also need to get, more importantly, I think, is the HR generalists, the worker bees, to help you guys out right now to get that going, and then, because we really want to spend the time to get a good director that everybody's comfortable with.
Yes.
And that has the same philosophy that we do moving forward, that, because we also, I don't know how long Jordan's going to be able to hold on to payroll and all that stuff either, so I don't know where that's going to end up, but that's a whole other discussion. But okay, we're good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
There's one more potential motion you may want to make. Do you want to allow them to advertise the HR generalist positions effective?
We have to make a motion to do that?
Neither of them technically have hiring authority, so.
That'd be my motion then.
Okay.
Second.
So does that give them hiring authority?
Immediate
too?
advertisement and hiring.
Who's going to hire them then?
I'm hoping that based on advertising for the HR generalist and us getting an HR director, that the HR director coming on board maybe we can time it together and they as a team can have input on this.
Okay.
But we need to get those positions advertised.
Right, we definitely need to get them advertised, so.
We made a motion.
All right, so the authority, though, to fill the positions will rest with the HR director, is what we're thinking?
For right now, I guess.
We're going to advertise them immediately.
If I have to hire somebody, I'll do it. Give me the permission.
It's up to the board.
So my motion is going to be go ahead and advertise the HR journalist positions, and if we do not have an HR director on staff by the time they're ready to hire, that decision can be made by the HR manager.
Sure.
Okay.
Second.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you
that's clear.
for
All in favor?
clarification. I'm sorry I've been leaning
That was
on
a
you guys a
motion,
lot today.
Ron.
But
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. Okay, thank you guys for the great conversation. Sheriff's back.
I apologize. Could I have just a moment of personal privilege? I know it's not on the agenda, for just one thing, follow up from an earlier.
You guys okay with that? Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up that the 3% does include all the benefits, but we'll get with Jordan offline, so that's in there, so it shouldn't be an increase on that, so.
All right.
The benefits are included.
Appreciate
And
that,
then
Brian.
Jerry will sleep better tonight.
our HR staff are amazing. This has been I really appreciate the just really good open discussion and how you guys have been inclusive in letting them be part of this process, and their team is phenomenal. I think when we are able to add this additional staff and get a director in here, we're going to pull things together in a county in a way we haven't done for a long time, so appreciate.
Good.
I agree.
Well, you stood up there. I have a follow-up for you.
Yes.
Okay. So in the process of this transition, and we've consolidated the HR, with our May 5th motion, I believe it was, at the same time, right around that time, you hired your recruiting position that initially fell under HR.
Correct.
And so how is that being incorporated with the HR team?
That person worked for about 3 days, didn't like the job load, and resigned, so we currently don't have that position, so.
Okay.
Yeah, if we were able to find the right person, I would structure it to work under the HR team.
All right. Thank you.
Maybe that's something we can tag them with in the future, because you got
Because those were,
excited about this move, so let's just move on, but
and those were grant dollars.
They're grant dollars, so I think if we're able to find the right person to work part-time, I think that would,
okay.
I would come back in front of you and I'd advocate that Giovanna manages that part of the process, so thank you.
These things are addicting. Put them on my desk. Okay, so we'll move on to a motion to go in. Committee reports.
Hold
Anybody
on, there's one item before that, 13B.
That's a commission.
This is the commission coordinator position.
Oh, this is for Jordan's
Chair.
job. Okay.
Move
Commissioner
to approve
Hadcock.
the updated administrative coordinator position description as presented.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Move on. And we need to work on getting, do you need authority to, you can hire somebody.
I can hire,
so-
yes. Yep.
All right.
Now that I've got a position description, I will
You'll
initiate
get
the
that
hiring
posted, because I had a
process
couple
immediately.
people that we're going to recommend to you that go through your process
I'll
or
work with
whatever to
HR.
try to help.
Yep, okay.
So,
We're going to go through the planning applicants.
Okay.
We are.
Thanks. Okay, item 14, items from commissioners. Gary Durr, no meeting scheduled. Gary Drews,
I have some.
you got something to say?
I do have something to
Trying to
report.
shut you up, but okay.
So no,
You
I'm
got
just-
rain, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we did pray for rain, and our community has gotten rain. And so my daughter tells me that we've gotten about 2 inches of rain
Nice.
over the last week, which is across the county. I mean, I have been getting calls about complaints on the road, and we did lay some fresh gravel in some of the areas, and it's coming out of the pit out of Meade County. It does meet specs, and Joe's team has been responsive in going out and working those roads. But now that we got the moisture, we can actually go out and work on some of the roads. And so my comment is just the moisture has been an absolute blessing.
Awesome, awesome. Gary, did you have anything?
Yeah, so I did attend the Complete Health Board meeting. They're working on putting the budget together, which would include coming before the commission to request funding. I also, along with that, I did meet with the VP at Monument Health relative to use of the emergency room and charges against the county for it. And he's in agreement that Complete Health does save considerable dollars through their work of keeping people, treating people at Complete Health instead of those individuals going to the emergency room, which would subject us to potential
To those
bills.
payments. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I was gonna meet with him, Gary, and then I got jury duty. So I had to sit there and miss that meeting. So I'm gonna try again and hopefully, so.
okay.
Anyway.
The other thing is the Black Hills
Thanks,
MAC
Ron, for
board
jury
also has reorganized and is going to make it much more convenient, I think, as far as I'm concerned, as the liaison from the commission to participate in that, so,
Perfect, okay. So,
on the Black Hills MAC military.
okay, so Deb, you're up next. Make it quick, please.
Yep, budgets for Pennington County Housing we went through, we're doing well. We're doing some conversion. As you see, Alex Purcell is going to be part of that team. We're going to start working with veterans even more, using some of that BASH and working with Meade County for LAPC. Which one I can't always get confused, but I'm not on both of those. I was just on one of them. Anyway, we're working on 250th planning. There's some major stuff going. Also, I'd like to thank everyone who helped me get elected. So the community, employees, and different people that believed in me and helped me this year get elected was probably about the easiest election I've ever had for help. We did about 1,600 door hangers, lots of signs and lots of things, just a lot of people volunteering, and appreciated them wanting me to be on this board again. I'm very humbled by that. I think it's pretty amazing. I love this job. Been here for a while. I'm going to be here 4 more years after this year, and I like the employees, and I like working with the people here in Pennington County as well. I'm a little bit rough around the edges sometimes, but you always get the truth, and I'll always be straight up. So thank you, if the public is listening, and all the employees and people that helped me get elected, because it was pretty amazing all the help I got this year. So.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Ross he attended the meeting that I was going to attend. I couldn't make it, but he, like I said, unfortunately, the timing of the meeting was Tuesday. He took off the day, so he can't be here. So Complete Health Board, Gary picked up the slack on that for me, so I appreciate that. And then I had conversations with the Box Elder, mayor and the Rapid City mayor a little bit, just about collaborating and how those things moving forward have been really been happening well and moving forward. And we got our budget coming up, so we want to talk about the library at some point, what the initial effort will be there, so that we can give them a heads up. So, but I have an inkling, I know where that's going to go. I think that's all I had, other than the election's over, so hopefully. The primaries are over, I should say, and then there'll be some general election stuff coming up, so everybody will prepare for that. I think the results and stuff came out fairly timely from our auditor's office. I checked in with her. There was no issues that I knew of, so I think they handled that well. And that's it for me. I just need a motion to go
All
into
right.
executive session.
I'm going to make a motion to enter into executive session for SDCL 125-2(1) and 3 for the purposes of discussing personnel and contractual pending litigation.
Second. Are we taking our man with us? Tyler?
Yeah.
Hey, wake up back there, Tyler.
You guys going to
Adam,
take a
wake
vote?
up your insubordinate.
Do you want, please take the vote.
Is he going, you guys going into executive session with us?
Could the board please take the vote?
Oh, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're in executive session.
Okay.
Let us
Let's
try
go.
the face.
Motion to come out of executive session.
Nice face. Motion to
Second.
come out of executive session?
And a second, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried, and then we're out of executive.
Motions?
Motion to adjourn? We don't have.
We have,
There is one item that you'd need to make a
would you
public-
take the email off the screen?
There you go. It's on.
Yes. Sorry. It shared the wrong screen.
I don't think we had a motion.
There's a potential motion you can make for,
The out-of-class, or
Out of-
not the
yes, the
out-of-class pay, it's
compensation
the
exception
compensation exception request.
Oh, for the lady?
let me pull up the requested motion.
When do we start saying yes and then we start saying no on those?
I've said no quite consistently.
Yeah, so the requested motion would be move to approve placing Alicia Dowling at grade P1.2, step 4, effective May 25th, 2026.
I'm going to make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, we have a motion to deny. We have any conversation on that motion? All in
I-
favor?
well-
Gary, go ahead.
Okay. My thought was not going back, but I don't have an issue with doing the May 25, or the May 25, is that what we're talking about?
Beginning of the pay period.
Yeah, basically.
May
last-
26 or May 25?
Technically speaking, it's May 24, because that's the Sunday, which is the start of the current pay period. So the current pay period we're in, of 2026.
Of 2026.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to be in favor of it.
So can she do this on her own without having to go?
No,
No.
because it's outside of policy. And my whole thing is about being consistent as an organization. At some point in time, we have to get there.
So all in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
So opposed?
Aye.
So we got 3-1, motion carries. Denied.
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.